Hi, I'm Brent from Cover, and I'm joined today by Robyn Carter, IIWC President and Western Cape Branch Manager at Lombard Broker Partners. This interview is part of our Cover podcast series in association with, where we explore the power of relationships in the industry and dive into insightful conversations with associations and institutes across Africa. Thank you for joining me today, Robyn.
Thank you, Brent. I'm looking forward to our chat.
Yes, well, without further ado, let's get stuck in. So, as the newly elected president of the IIWC, what do you hope to achieve over the next 2 years?
Our purpose as a council has always been to provide our members with value through our three core pillars. And those pillars are education, networking, and charities. So, in my term over the next 2 years, I hope to expand on those pillars and just broaden our reach, not only from a membership aspect, but also through more collaborative engagements with other local institutes. I'd like to create a synergy between institutes, which could result in our members and partners receiving more exposure, more networking opportunities, and it would also hopefully result in our charities receiving more support and opportunities to benefit from.
Oh, that sounds great. So as the IIWC grows, there's extended benefit for your stakeholders across the board. That sounds really good. And moving on from that, then, what would you say the core focus is for the year ahead? And is this any different from previous years?
I think the core focus for this year is definitely to create opportunities. So opportunities for our members, opportunities for our partners and for our charities. And it's very similar to previous years, just with an added focus on expanding the existing platforms. So expanding what already works well, for example, like in the edu space with our webinars and trying to see how we can grow that and how we can make that of more value to our members, because our main focus and purpose of being on council is to serve our members. So we try and put them at the forefront of everything that we're doing.
Okay, cool. Well, that sounds good. And then the institute's tagline is engage, enable, and empower. So what does this mean, and how does this translate to members and communities that the IIWC supports through initiatives like the RISE program and charities?
So our hashtags, our hashtag engage, enable, and empower, it stemmed from the launch of our IIWC ecosystem theme, which we've carried through from the beginning of 2022. And the value proposition is that every aspect of this business intertwines in order to achieve membership satisfaction and societal contributions. So on the engage front, we'd like to engage through events. So events that would create networking opportunities for our members. And those would be in the form of our golf day. We have a castle experience that's scheduled for this year, which is a new event. We have various nibble and network sessions that fall within the under 35 space, and that's just a few of what we've got in our calendar under the engage portion. And then empower, we'd like to empower our members by providing an educational platform and opportunity for them to earn their required CPD hours. So we host a number of edu webinars throughout the year, which focuses on an array of topics and different lines of business. So it exposes our members to learning opportunities which sit beyond their day-to-day scope of business. And then the RISE program was also designed to empower our young professionals and just to bridge the gap of expertise between them and the more senior individuals in our industry. And then lastly, on the enable front, we'd like to enable our charities. So everything that we set out to do is ultimately tying into an opportunity to give back to our selected charities. And we have a stringent vetting process, regular meetings with them as well, in order to establish what their short-term and long-term needs and goals are. And then this allows us to channel our efforts with a specific focus per charity, which enables them to provide for their organizations. So ultimately, all three pillars or all three taglines are linked and they feed off each other, and that creates that sense of community and that ecosystem that we are wanting to drive.
Wow, I love that. That sounds great. I mean, there's a lot of talk around collaboration, and I think just in some of those things you were saying there, sustainability. So the charities that there's a sort of a consistent conversation, so it's ongoing, and you're really working with them to, as you said there, enable them over the long term, which is really great. And I liked what you said there around the strong vetting process. So your members at least know and are assured that if they are supporting the charities, that they are being vetted. And and it's nice to sort of check in and see what you're doing there. You touched on the event aspect as well, so I think that segues quite nicely into the next question. So the IIWC calendar for 2023 is filled with a mix of educational and networking events. So is there a specific event that stands out for you?
So, Brent, for me, it's the gala dinner. It definitely is the gala dinner that stands out for me, and not only because it's an opportunity to get all glammed up and look all fab and stuff, but it's also an opportunity for us to have all our industry players under one roof, celebrating our successes for the year. It doesn't matter who you represent on the evening, whether it's yellow, green, blue, or purple, everyone is there. And it's an opportunity for us as council to say thank you and just to give back to our members and to our partners for their support throughout the year. But I think in a close second would be the fitness event, because I love anything fitness related. So that's really a close second for me. I can't be doing a heat workout in heels though, but yeah, gala dinner and then the fitness events.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, I think just in having this conversation and what you're saying there, I think we can't discount the value of networking, of in-person networking. And I'd imagine that the timing of the event being towards the end of the year, it's probably also a bit of a wind down for some people. So it sort of doubles up as maybe a mini end of year function for teams that have worked hard. So good to hear that it's well received, and I'm looking forward to this year's event. So I look forward to seeing what the theme is. Um, we'll wait to see what that is. Any teasers? Anything you can share at this time?
I am not at liberty to share anything at this stage. But
Okay.
just in addition to that, Brent, I think it's also just an opportunity for us to showcase what we've achieved for the year, especially related to our charities and sort of what milestones we've reached with them, apart from the party.
Yes. No, and I think it's an important point. So to sort of showcase the hard work that collectively the sort of member base is put together. It's 100% important to keep that top of mind, to not lose sight of what you're trying to achieve as an institute. Personally, my favorite event is the Action Soccer. The Action Soccer events. I think I've actually only actively done it once, and I think I've mentioned to you before. Clyde & Co. took us out in the semis. We went into a penalty shootout, and we were robbed of our victory. I actually don't know who was calling at the time, but hopefully 2023 we'll see cover sort of full team present, and I think we'll take the title this year. I'm fairly confident. Yeah.
Let me just say, Team Lombard are the reigning champs. So there's some
Yes.
stiff competition. But I mean, bring it on. We'll see what happens this year.
Okay, I can't wait. I look forward to it. So there are a few new events then on that, to stay on that theme, included in 2022. Was there a specific reason for this, and are you seeing a shift in the demographics of the member base and an increase in younger members?
So after COVID and post-pandemic, I think we realized that the priorities of our members changed. And even the priorities of our sponsors, what they wanted to see in terms of events, that also changed. There was a larger focus and need for well-being. So events that focused on financial wellness, physical wellness, and mental wellness. And for that reason, we incorporated the fitness events to touch on the physical wellness side. The financial wellness we covered with a Money Matters events that we ran in the under 35 space, which worked really well because it answered crucial questions that they would have at that age around, pointing them in the right direction with things like, how do I go about applying for a bond, for example. And then on the mental well-being side, with the AGM, we covered it through having a laughing therapist or a laughter therapist, as our guest speaker. And as they say, laughter is the best medicine. So I think that went down really well. But yes, there is a shift in the demographic. Definitely more younger members coming in. We saw an increase of about 20% in members who are under the age of 35 over the last year, which is quite substantial growth for us in that space. And I think the main contributing factor to that is the RISE mentorship program as well. So it's definitely something that is changing as we go, yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. I personally, I really enjoy, digging into things like culture and innovation, and I love organizational psychology. So it's nice to sort of hear that you're touching on sort of rounding that out, sort of financial wellness, the mental side of that thing as well, which is really really important. And good to hear that you obviously. I'm assuming some of the changes then came from input from the existing member base. Would that be accurate, or did you get input to sort of, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, we're having conversations just as a council. We're having conversations with our members all the time to establish what their needs are. We run surveys. We'll do a survey monkey and say, what are you guys interested in? On the edu side, which topics would you like us to cover, or which topics would you like to be or to hear more of? And that's how we gather our information, and then based on those findings we put the events together.
Okay, great. Well, that's, yeah, really really good to hear. And also, I think, so going into the next question, then it segues in quite nicely. You talked about the RISE program a bit, and the increase in the younger members coming in, and I think that's great for the industry to see younger professionals, trying to get on that career track and have that growth. So the RISE program, as I understand, it's in its third year in 2023. How well has that been received in the industry, and where do you see this going in years to come?
So RISE has been it's a program that's very close to my heart, because it was the reason why I joined council 6 years ago. The focus at the time for me was not only because of my passion for this industry, but also to develop our younger professionals as well, and just create an awareness around the diversity and opportunities which our industry presents. So we were so overwhelmed this year when we put out the call for mentees and mentors, and it was so well received. So just to paint the picture, in 2021, with our pilot program, we had 9 mentees and mentors. And so this year we sit with 20 mentees and mentors. So there's been such an amazing response to the program, and such amazing growth. And I think it's just testament to the number of younger people who are starting out in our industry, and who are wanting to know more. It's such a wonderful program. It's facilitated by Linda Coetzee and Associates, and it runs over a 9-month period. So at the end of it all, we'd like to see the growth within the each mentee space, and what they achieve from it is really what they set out with their mentor. um, what we'd like to do is eventually get to a point where we can grow the program into a second phase, and this would completely depend on the sponsorship that we can source for it. So we'd have your first 9 months, which would be your mentee and your mentor, on a one-on-one basis, and then the second phase would be sort of the guys who have already walked that journey and are calling themselves RISE alumni, who would go into a personal mastery or a leadership and development program with Linda and Jenna then as the next step. So we're not quite there yet, but definitely something that we'd like to develop, and implement.
Okay, that sounds really exciting. So I look forward to, and just to hear that growth going from 9 to 20. It certainly sounds like it's been well received, and I look forward to seeing, yeah, this intake, and hopefully you can get the second phase off the ground. My last question for you would be, the IIWC is embarking on an expedition into Africa later this year. What excites you about Africa, and what do you hope to gain from the trip?
I'm very excited about this collaboration with Cover, because firstly, it's the first of its kind, with that, sort of, it's the first expedition that the IIWC would be doing into Africa. For me, I think the African insurance market is historically underdeveloped and underrated, but definitely one that's rapidly changed and reshaped and grown. So to see how they conduct business, and the way they go about, dealing with their markets is going to be very interesting. I think things like domestication stand out for me, their regulatory oversight, solvency requirements, their distribution channels, and just the way in which they innovate. It's going to be interesting to go in and get a better understanding of how they navigate all of that. And then just to be able to take that research and bring it back home into our local market and to our business partners here and make that available, for our members. I think those insights are going to be invaluable.
I 100% agree. I think that's sort of, yeah, really looking forward to it. Looking forward to the insights and, like you said, that endpoint around bringing back some of the learnings, so that it's not just the people that are going there, but there's sort of extended benefit when everyone comes back. So really looking forward to that. Thank you so much for making the time to chat to me. Yeah, really excited to see how the 2023 year goes for you as the newly elected president. Where can people get in touch from an IIWC perspective? If anyone's listening to this and they're not a member, where can they get in touch? How do they go about doing that?
Yeah, our website has all the details on, and that's www.iiwc.co.za. Alternatively, they are welcome to contact Anik at info@iiwc.co.za. And then our various social media platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, it's at II Western Cape.
Perfect. I'll link that up in the description for this. So if anyone does want to join, if they're not actively involved, they should definitely get involved. So thank you so much for your time, Robyn.
Thank you, Brent, and thank you, Cover.